All right, like I say, I was going to choose one from every column, and then I'm most definitely going to do the last one with you guys on Math Lab today, the geometry one. But do you all have, there's a couple of you in here. Does anybody have a specific one that you want me to do in the first row? 1, 2, or 3? Or does it matter?
Probably 3.
3. All right. That was actually, it's weird that you say that, because that was actually the one I was going to pick, because it has different signs in the center. So the first thing that you're going to do, remember, we're going to apply the FOIL method. So we're going to multiply the first two. So that's going to be b squared, because that's what f is, first. And now we're going to do outer. So that's going to be b times -2, which is going to be minus 2b. And then we're going to do inner, which is 4 times b. And then we'll do last. Oops, my bad. Didn't mean to do that. Last, which is going to be 4 times -2, which is -8. And now we're going to combine like terms, which should always be the outer and inner terms, these two. If you've followed the FOIL method, it should be the middle terms always that you can combine. So my final answer is going to be b squared. And if I combine a -2b and a positive 4b, I'm going to get a positive 2b minus 8 as my final answer. Okay, so for the second row, which one would y'all like me to do? Any particular one?
4, please.
4? Okay. Yeah, the ones with the opposite signs can be a little more confusing than when the signs are alike. So, okay, so first, w squared, outer, w times a positive 3, inner, -7w, because you got a -7 times w, and then last, -7 times a positive 3 is a -21. All right, so now, once again, the two inner terms, because we've done all the multiplying, so we're getting ready now to combine any like terms. The first step, that FOIL step, is the multiplication step. Okay, once you've completed the multiplication step, now you're just looking for like terms that can be combined. And that should be, when you follow the FOIL method, those two middle terms. So 3w minus 4w. So that's w squared. And then when you combine a positive 3w and a negative 4w, that's a minus 4w. And that should be your final answer for number 4. All right, the next row, 7, 8, or 9.
Could we skip down a few rows, maybe?
Oh, yeah, we definitely, I'm going to hit one from every row.
Okay.
9, please.
I'm sorry?
9, please.
Yes, 9. That's, Eli, we must be on the same page, because I promised that was the one I was going to pick if nobody picked. All right, so applying the FOIL method, we've got first, which is going to be 4m squared. And now outer, which is going to be 4m times a negative 2n. So that's going to be negative 8mn. And now we're going to do inner, which is going to be n times m, but I want to keep them in alphabetical order, so I'm going to put mn. And then we've got last, which is n times negative 2n. So now we want to combine like terms, and that we've completed all our multiplication, so we're combining like terms, and that should be the two middle terms. So we've got a negative 8mn and a positive 1mn, because that there's an understood 1 right there when there's no coefficient. So that's going to be negative 7mn minus, and I forgot to put my squared up there, please forgive me, 2n squared. Because I had an n times n, so that gives me an n squared. So that's my final answer for number 9. All right. It's between 11 and 12. Which one do y'all want me to do on this row?
Uh, 11.
11. Okay. 5x times x is going to be 5x squared, because that's my first. And then we're going to do outer. That's going to be 5x times a negative 2. That's going to be negative 10x. And then we've got inner, which is a positive 3x. And now we've got last, which is going to be negative 6. So now all of our multiplying is done, because that's the first step. The FOIL step is the multiplying step. And once we've got that done, now we do our combining step, or adding, subtracting step. So we're combining like terms. And if we've done FOIL correctly, the two terms that can be combined are the middle ones. So that's 5x squared. And then negative 10x plus a positive 3x is a negative 7x, and then minus 6. Okay. The next row, I was going to do number 15 unless somebody else had another question. Remember, on all of these, 13, 14, and remember 13 was exactly like 15 on yesterday's notes page. But remember, all of these, when they have this little squared, you need to remember that that's really shorthand, if you will, or shortcut writing for 4m plus 1 times 4m plus 1. That's really written twice. Just like 3 squared is shorthand for writing 3 times 3. Or 4 squared is 4 times 4. So this 4m plus 1 squared is 4m plus 1 times 4m plus 1. So once you've written that out, you just apply FOIL. So first, outer, inner, and then last. And now we've done FOIL just like the rest of the problems. So that's all the multiplication step. The FOIL step is the multiplication step. And now we're going to combine like terms. And if we've done FOIL correctly, that should be the two middle terms. And we're just adding 4m plus 4m. So your final answer should be 16m squared plus 8m plus 1. Now numbers 16, 17, and 18. These are all those special factoring patterns that are on the video today. And these are known as the difference of squares. But if we apply FOIL, we're going to see on number 16, 17, and 18 that that middle term always cancels out. When the first term in the first binomial matches the first term in the second one, and the second term in the first one matches the second term in the second one, but the signs in the middle are different. That's called the difference of two squares. But if you still apply FOIL, first x squared, and then outer minus x, and then inner plus x, and then last negative 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. See these two middle terms? They cancel out. So your final answer is x squared minus 1. Once again, the first term in the first binomial matches the first term in the second binomial, and the second term in the first binomial matches the second term in the second binomial, but the signs in the middle are different. So that tells me that it's the difference of squares, and the two middle terms should cancel out. And it doesn't matter if the plus is in the first binomial and the minus is in the second. It doesn't matter which way, because when you're applying the FOIL method, it's still going to turn out. Those should cancel out when you combine, and you should end with this. That's why it's called the difference of two squares, because the first y squared is a square and 64 is a square. And there's a minus sign in the middle. Same thing on number 18. So first, outer, inner, last. 4w squared minus 2w, my apologies, plus 2w. And then last, 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. We did FOIL correctly, so that middle term should cancel out, and your final answer should be this. Number 19 is also another difference of squares. So I'm going to leave that one for you guys to do, since I did 3 of those examples, and that's the primary focus on today's lesson. So I'll leave that one. And then I'm going to move on to multiplying a binomial to a trinomial on number 20. And I guess I'm going to do 20 and 23 and 25, unless you all have a question on one of the others. All right. So what you want to do when you're multiplying a binomial to a trinomial is you want to multiply this number, or the x, to everything in the second set of parentheses. So x times x squared is x cubed, because you're just adding your exponents. And x times 4x is 4x squared. And x times negative 8 is negative 8x. And now we'll multiply the 5 by everything in the other set of parentheses. So we've got 5x squared plus 20x minus 40. And now we should have 6 terms, because if you multiply everything in this first one by everything, that gives you 3 terms. And if you multiply that 5 by everything, that's another 3 terms. So your second step should have 6 terms. Now we're looking for things we can combine together. There's only one x cubed, so I'm just going to go ahead and write it. But here is a positive 4x squared, and here's a positive 5x squared. So when I combine those, that's going to be plus 9x squared. And now I have a negative 8x and a positive 20x. So if I combine those, that's going to give me a positive 12x, because you're just combining the coefficients at this point. We've already done our multiplication. That was the six terms. And now we have left just a negative 40 all by itself. So my final answer for this one is x cubed plus 9x squared plus 12x minus 40. And I think I'm going to actually do number 24 instead of 23, because it has kind of more of a mixture of signs in it. So I'm going to do that one. So what you're going to do is multiply. In that first step, you're going to multiply 3x to everything, every term in the second trinomial, or second parentheses. So 3x times 5x squared is 15x cubed. And 3x times negative 12x is negative 36x squared. And 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x. Now we're going to multiply the 2 by everything in the second set of parentheses. So 2 times 5x squared is a positive 10x squared. And 2 times negative 12x is negative 24x. And 2 times a negative 2 is a negative 4. Now our multiplying is all over, so we're looking for like terms to combine. There's only one 15x cubed, so we'll go ahead and write that down. There's nothing to combine. There's no other x cubed term. But I do see that I have a negative 36x squared, and I have a positive 10x squared. So when I combine those, I've got a negative 26x squared, because negative 36 combined with a positive 10 is a negative 26. So once you find your like terms by matching the variable with matching exponents, you just combine the coefficients. And I've got a negative 6x with a negative 24x. Those are both negative. So negative 6 and a negative 24 gives me a negative 30x. And then I've got a negative 4 left. So my final answer for number 24 is 15x cubed minus 26x squared minus 30x minus 4. Write an expression to represent the area of the shaded region in simplest form. So what you're trying to do is area is length times width. So for the shaded area, I'm going to have to take the area of the whole thing, which is going to be 3x minus 1 times 5x plus 2. So that's going to be the area of the whole rectangle. And then I'm going to subtract this little area here, which is x times x plus 7. So now I'm going to FOIL here. 3x times 5x is 15x squared. And let's see, that was first. And now outer, which is 3x times 2, which is 6x. And then inner, negative 1 times 5x is minus 5x. And then last is going to be negative 2. So that's the multiplication or the FOIL part of that first bracket. Now, x times x is x squared, and x times 7 is 7x. Need to be really cautious on this next step. So follow along. So we're going to do some combining like terms. We have a 15x squared. And then we did our FOIL correctly, so our middle two terms can be combined. So we've got a 6x and a negative 5x. So that's going to be a 1x minus 2 here. This negative right here, this subtraction, gets distributed to everything in here. So now I've got a minus x squared and a minus 7x. And now I want to combine like terms again. So I've got a 15x squared here and a negative x squared there. So that's going to be 14x squared. And I've got a positive 1x and a negative 7x. So that's going to be a minus 6x. And then I only have a negative 2 as a constant left. So that is the final answer for number 25. Okay. Hey, Mary. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know when you joined, but I will post it so that you can go back and watch anything that you missed. I tried to do at least one from every column. Did you have specific questions?
I had a question on number 2 and number 9.
2 and 9. All right. So number 2, you're going to FOIL. So first, x squared outer, x times 3. So 3x, inner plus 8x, and then outer, or last, I'm sorry, 24. So if you FOILed right, your multiplication step, which is your FOIL step, your middle two terms should be the only two terms that you can combine. So 3x plus 8x is 11x. So your final answer is x squared plus 11x plus 24. That answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And number 9, if you multiply 4m times m, you get 4m squared. So that's my first. And then outer is 4m times negative 2n, which gives me negative 8mn. And then inner is n times m. And once again, keep it in alphabetical order. So that gives me a positive 1mn. You don't have to write the 1, but I wrote it here. But I keep it in alphabetical order. And then n times a negative 2n is negative 2n squared. And then when you combine the two middle terms, which now you can't really see very well, so let me rewrite them. It gives you a negative 7mn. And then you have 4m squared minus 7mn minus 2n squared.
Could you work out number 11 and 13 because I wasn't here until you got to 16?
Well, okay. Well, number 13, I didn't really work it out. I just made a note that it's the same one it's as number 15 on the notes page. It's the same exact problem.
Okay.
So as long as you took the notes yesterday in class, you could go back to that as an example. And what was the other one?
Number 11.
Okay, so first, 5x times x is 5x squared. And then outer is 5x times negative 2, which is negative 10x. And then inner is 3 times x, so that's a positive 3x. And then last is 3 times negative 2, which is negative 6. So that was our multiplication step. The FOIL step is all the multiplication. And now we're down to the combining. And as long as we've done FOIL correctly, the only terms that really can be combined should be the middle terms. And that, in fact, is correct here. So we've got 5x squared. And when you combine a negative 10x and a positive 3x, you're just combining the coefficients. So negative 10 plus 3 is a negative 7x minus 6. So that's your final answer for that one.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I'm going to post this if you have any other questions.
No, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. We'll see you in class tomorrow.
Have a blessed day.
Oh, you have a blessed day as well, sweetie. Bye-bye.